Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Adventures in Silvernell, episode 59 of The Second Coming. Don't you fucking laugh at me. Welcome to our R-rated stream. I can already see on our Twitch that I should make the Discord a little bit bigger. So, I'm gonna, before we get into anything, first of all, say hello to our friends Michael Williams, Mariah Johnson.
Hi.
Hey, guys.
We're missing one today.
Michael Jackson is not here tonight for two reasons. One, he just spoiler alert. He just ascended to godhood last episode, so his material body is fucking god. The second thing is he kind of wants to see what you do so he can make a character that fits with the rest of this adventure.
I can respect
that's appropriate.
that.
Yeah, I think that's.
I can respect that, and it's fitting because, like, as I pointed out in our chat, that it's weird for characters to say goodbye to a character while that character's player is present.
Just like
yes. Yeah.
It's strange. Like, I've done it. Like, it's weird. So hopefully he's watching and we give him a fitting send off. Whatever that turns out to be.
Oh, and he just jumped into the Twitch chat, so.
Oh, excellent. Good. Yeah, I'm gonna drop in.
Oh, and Orgoth is in the Twitch chat as well. Frankie baby.
Oh, yay.
Before we jump into anything, first of all, how are things going at Grimstone Goods? And then let's see what's presents and stuff await.
Things are going pretty good. I am I have a project. This is not really Grimstone Goods related, but it's arts and crafts related, and that's what I do with Grimstone Goods. So I have had machinations, if you will, on doing a cosplay of Drix at some point, specifically probably for like TikToks, because that's a popular thing on TikTok. I've got like 24 sounds saved specifically for it, but Drix is pretty much a velociraptor person, kind of difficult, but thanks to my cohort here, the lovely Miss Mariah, I have the first piece to be able to do that.
Oh, look at those eyes.
Yeah, the eyes are prime.
Is that transparent? Oh.
Yeah, that's so he can see out of it.
Oh, it's got the chin straps.
Yeah.
Does it go
look
up
at
and go? Oh, is it fluid?
Yeah, it's pretty fluid.
Yeah, like,
Can
really
you imagine him just like doing his little like weird thing? Yeah.
In the jungle.
Yeah, I got some cosplay clay and some feathers, and I'm gonna morph this into Drix.
He's literally gonna become Drix.
Wow, we're gonna lose him.
Like, his wife's gonna come home, and he's just gonna be like,
I do have a very rare steak. Really do.
I loved how you took a bite right as he went live. You're just like.
Perfect timing. And then I almost jumped on it when he
I know. I was like, what
our 10 viewers are loving it in the chat. Thanks, Frankie. Thanks, everybody.
Yay.
But I also, last week we did the gifts for Scott and MJ, but Mariah's did not arrive in time for her to join us, but she did get it this week, so drum roll. You don't have to do it.
I haven't opened it, but I opened the package, but this lovely wax seal.
Make you full screen.
Skull. Make me full screen.
You're full screen.
All right, here we go. What did you get me? Obviously, it's a snow globe in here. I mean,
it's a new like pop-up one.
Oh, okay. Oh no, it's stuck to my stuff. Ooh, oh, it's a necklace. Oh, but it's got. Okay, I got it. No, it's okay.
Easily
it was just a little tacky.
Okay.
Easily. Ooh, look at that.
Oh, that's
and
that's an amulet.
You sculpted this.
Yeah.
Amulet of Talos.
From I didn't know if your Talos was the same as the lore Talos.
My beads that I wear for her.
Like I was like.
No, I love it.
Then
I'm putting it around this cord here.
But it's from the D&D lore.
Oh my gosh.
You love it so much.
Yeah.
I can tighten it, right?
And then, of course, you got a pin as well. I
did, and I got a cool little...
Our second coming pins. Y'all should check that shop out on Etsy, Bottled Monster. Like they've got just tons of really cool enameled pins. I'm like obsessed with enameled pins lately. Mostly for my like jacket that I wear around when I'm out and about. Yeah, buddy.
I'll put the jacket on.
I'll probably wear this until we're done with this story, and then it will have an honored place on my jacket.
My microphone is in here, so
It's like
it's all
inside.
good.
Can we get Mariah's people, please?
Perfect. Excuse me. Fix
That was
me.
great.
All right.
I love it. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Drix and Zeph tonight. Shall we recap?
Please.
Episode 59. Last time on episode 58. If you didn't see it, go get out of here. Go watch and come back. Episode 58.
Yeah,
Drix, Summersong, and Zeph made their way into Born Freon, the Quiet Highlands of the Fae. Watsule had pointed them to Asgarath, and they fought Asgarath. 30 ancient black dragons, sealed together by the souls of all their followers who all killed themselves at the same time in dedication to Asgarath. They fought him, but Summersong used his only time stone that he has kept for many episodes and touched the hand that had trapped him down and reverted Asgarath through time backwards, which took him out of those dragons and spread them out once again, and the souls flashed into the air and then fought 30 dragons. The dragons slowly, one at a time, thrashed you guys. It did not look good. But you were able to rewind time to the perfect time where you held the dragons still, you killed enough. Zeph used her awesome mace to just like freeze them all, and Drix took you back to the Gorgolon village. From there, individually, Stax, Talos, and Summersong, with you using the last stone, he ascended to godhood, and you guys were able to be picked up by your gods to fight Asgarath in the celestial plane, which looks like, the quantum realm. You saw the larger structure of what Silvernell comes from. You'd seen that Silvernell was a broken off piece of something much larger, a giant cube. And you fought Asgarath, and after 4.5 hours of playing, you finally did it! You finally killed him. Tonight, you have been taken back to the material plane, back into the Gorgolon village. Summersong is gone. He has ascended to where Thrut is, which you fought with. That was cool. We have just seen Drix open up after exhaustion, trying to get his energy, pulling himself back up. Zeph is trying to wake herself up, but also helping Drix. Quizo has ran over. Esmerelda has run over with her cat Moxie, and you told them to, or Zeph told them to send a message to Ray about the skywriting, that the Titans have fallen. We come back, everyone's kind of quiet, as Drix is pulling himself up, and Zeph watches on, seeing if he's okay. Welcome back.
So Drix is going to stand up. Drix can't really stand up on his own, though. So he is going to lean on either Zeph or Quizo, whomever's closest.
I'm probably pretty close.
They're probably both going in, seeing the moment you went.
You came in and you hit me with restoration, lesser restoration. So I got rid of one of my exhaustion points, so I can move around. Drix is pretty badly wounded. What I imagine to be like lightning, like scars, burns maybe, that are all like lightning shaped, because of the fight that we had just got out of. Scott, do I know if there are any like pools of water, like springs or like places that they go to like refresh and bathe maybe?
There is a large pool of water in front of the Gorgolon tree right at the base. These are what those spiral wooden stairs go up to, that general meeting hut that hangs from a branch. That's over a pool of water.
Okay. Drix would like to go there. So if Zeph would be so kind.
Yeah, and as I guess Esmerelda approaches us or anything, or even to Quizos, I'm going to ask if there is a healer, or if anybody could assist Drix in healing.
Esmeralda and Quasar just kind of look at each other as you just hear meow, and down Moxie is just already looking the other way, kind of gets your vision, and you look that way. If you remember, the entire tribe is in ceremonial dance right now because of the ascension of the new god of the hunt, Thrut. Focused. I mean,
okay. Can I be like, he's ascended, like you're good?
Moxie just like looks back and like just makes his way towards the dance.
Okay.
Esmeralda
well, then I will...
there is, but yeah.
Well, okay, fine. Drix, I will do whatever you need, however I can help. And Zeph is looking very distraught right now. She feels very guilty for the state that Drix is in.
So are we headed to the pool?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'll escort you to the pool.
All right. So when we get
Quizos coming along too? Like,
Quizo is
leaving them behind?
Esmeralda. She says she'll be right there. She has like a concerned look, maybe nothing too dire.
Okay.
Drix is gonna look to Quizo and are the envoys from the other tribes present at the ceremony? Are they here?
No.
They're at the other tribes?
They're lining up to create the wall.
Okay. We need somebody that we can confer with to get word to the other tribes.
Okay.
Perhaps one of the runners, one of the hunters.
Sure. If we want a quicker message, the magic girl.
Right. I just think she's going to be preoccupied with the other messages we have to send, but that's a thought. I will keep that in mind when she returns.
I just kind of look at Drix. I'm like, you always have a plan, but I think right now we need to help you.
All right. Drix just wants to get in the water real bad.
Okay. I take him over to the water.
So
Quizo will say, if there is a message you need to send, I will make sure it gets to where it needs to go.
Thank you, Quizo. I will think on that for a moment, if you'll give me a few moments.
Take your time. I'm way too clean. I'm gonna walk on.
Drix is not clean. Drix is very dirty. But now he's cleaning himself.
Space dust.
Space dust and
blood.
Probably has like a burnt chicken kind of smell.
Oh. Oh.
Right? Anyway, I will also just cast a healing word on myself to try to heal myself up a little bit.
And I'll cast healing word on you too. I have a few spell slots left.
Yeah. I'd also like to do lesser restoration to get rid of another level of exhaustion.
Okay.
I'm not expecting having to do a lot of rolling tonight, but just in case, I would like to be able to do that with not all disadvantages.
Also, want to point out, as a reminder, when we were fighting Azrath in space, you had a 500 temporary HP. Those are all now gone.
Oh yeah,
and your temporary AC boost.
Mm-hmm.
And that power you had.
Zeph, yeah. Because all I got was the temporary AC boost.
Yeah.
Right. I hardly got hit, just FYI.
Yeah. That fight was crazy.
Drix almost died.
Yeah, I know.
Like Drix
Zeph is just like, well.
It's one of two fights we've had this whole game where it came like close to Drix dying. Other than the one that we knew he was going to die in, because that's the way the fight was meant to go down. Yeah.
Technically, I did die.
Technically, you did die. That's
all right, the pool is glistening. The giant white gorgolon tree, its roots around. It's a very like cheerful, bright atmosphere, almost like you can hear light singing from coming into town.
So Drix is gonna kind of just sort of. I'm assuming the water's like deep enough that I can like sit, like lean up against the edge.
Yeah.
That's what I would. Drix wants to lounge for a moment in the water.
Doesn't have a hard end, it's it's a slope end, but you can lay on the slope.
Yeah, so he's just gonna kind of lay there and look up at the tree.
I think Zeph will kind of not know really what to do at this point and be like, would you like me to leave you for a bit?
No, you are welcome to if that is what you wish.
No.
I would like your company.
You would?
Yes. To be perfectly honest, I did not expect us to walk away from that.
I didn't either. But I'm glad we did.
Yes. Yes.
I'm sorry for what I did to you up there. I fought so hard I couldn't stop.
You
But
were
it's my
aware?
fault you're in this shape. Yeah, I was aware the whole time. It was torture.
I am sorry for that.
No.
I will admit you pack a punch. But
Apparently I do.
I knew that it was not you.
Good.
Asgarath was in my head too. He just wasn't a match for it.
So
Good thing.
strong.
Well, wisdom was always one of my strong suits, I suppose. He was in my head too. I know it wasn't you.
Okay. Little tears just gonna like kind of roll down her cheek, but she's kind of like brush it off like, I'm fine.
You do not need to feel guilty.
Thank you.
You are welcome.
I honestly don't know what I would have done if I hadn't snapped out of it. Oh God.
You did snap out of it. And even if you hadn't, you are a resourceful, powerful person. You would have found a way.
I would have.
I believe that. It's actually a little odd. Do you know much about lizard folk courtship?
No. Nothing.
I do not know if these practices are still commonplace, but from my tribal days, suitors would often hunt trophies for one another. And when fair matches were made, there would usually be some form of ritual combat.
Between the suitors?
Yes. A proving ground of sorts.
Well, would there be a winner?
Depends. There is usually a degree of acquiescence from one party member to the other. A agreement to give and take power as necessary.
Fascinating.
If you cannot do this, then you have no grounds for trust. It's a little archaic, I think, by more modern standards from what little I have seen. Anyway, you are very powerful, Zeph. That is an attractive feature in lizard folk. That is the gist of my story.
So you're saying you liked it?
I, that is a perplexing question.
I'm kidding. I am jesting.
Oh, I see.
Well, I am fascinated to know that, and it makes me feel a little better that I don't know, um, didn't offend you by doing that.
No, once again, I knew it wasn't you, really. If you wanted to kill me, you probably could. I'm willing to concede that.
Hmm.
I was never. This whole quest has left me asking a lot of questions about myself. I was never really meant to be a frontline warrior out hunting gods. I was meant to be kept on the back burner, an advisor of sorts.
Well, you've taken the role very well.
Thank you. The stakes demanded it.
It's amazing what we can rise to on the occasion.
Yes. Admittedly, not where I saw things going.
No,
We were in space, yes?
I think so. I think we
Yes.
were there, right?
That's
Yeah.
weird.
I think we were giants in space.
Even by my standards, that is very odd.
It was. It doesn't seem real.
And we won.
We did.
You delivered the killing blow.
Wow. Only because you were persistent in beating him down, while I inevitably just kept beating you down. It was tough, but
I never lost faith in you.
you know, I've had, as you know, such a fear about that my whole life. And I finally feel like I can relax a little bit, knowing that you're strong. You can handle yourself. You can take care of it, and I don't have to worry about that anymore.
You do not with me.
That feels so good. You don't understand how good that feels.
I have seen parts of your history, so it is not completely out of my depth. And I understand what it feels like to have a rage inside of you that manifests outwardly.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
I am.
What was that?
Walk, don't run.
Esmeralda's running up the steps kind of jauntily towards that big hanging meeting room thing above the water.
I am sad that I did not get to say goodbye.
To Summer Song?
Yes.
Me too. That's what makes me think that what we just did was real, that he's not here with us celebrating.
I saw him there.
He
He attacked me.
Oh, okay.
Well,
at least I wasn't the only one.
it wasn't him, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Through too.
Mm.
I got to say my goodbyes to him, though, even though he did not think it would be a goodbye. Summersong was an interesting character. He did not wear his emotions on his sleeves like some others.
No, but he was good at helping others process theirs.
Yeah. I had an older brother when I was very young. Did not really know him. He left pilgrimage of some sort and never returned, at least not in the time that the village still stood. I often wondered about him and wondered what that was like. The whole brother thing, siblings. Summer Song was that, I think.
Yeah, he was that. Part of the tribe.
Family.
Well, we speak to gods on the regular, so
I am determined to find a way to do just that. And while I feel very terrible at this precise moment, when I am feeling less terrible, I will be very capable of doing that. That didn't make much sense.
no, but I think you're capable of anything. So,
Appreciate it.
yeah,
I'm very tired.
I don't doubt it.
That's the one thing about the rage, too. Sneaks up on you.
I feel that within me more so than ever. But for the first time, I feel like I'm not trying to snuff it out. Like it's just a part of me, and a part of me that I have to accept.
I have to think about my words, deliver them in a manner that is not as off-putting as I am prone to do. We have been traveling together for some time, yes.
Yes.
Been through many different situations. I am
Yes.
constantly watching. Was watching you and Summer Song. Your tactics, your approach. There is a lot to you that I think you have shied away from. With good reason, of course. But throughout this journey, you have been in a cocoon of sorts. And I think you're set to emerge. And I feel like I can see all of you. And it is what has drawn me to you.
That feels good because I don't know if anybody has ever really seen me. Or I don't know if I really even have seen myself.
Well,
But I do. Well, I do feel a change. I do feel that I am capable, that there is something more. And honestly, I think the only reason for that is because of you, because of your trust in me. I don't know.
I look forward to seeing your face when you see yourself.
Maybe it'll be a whole different color.
It very well might. We are wont to do that sometimes. We owe it to Summer Song to see all of this through, and that means saving the Fae.
And that hut Right above the water, you just see bright light, like rainbow colors shooting out of it.
What is she doing?
Right. We should probably see about that. Yes.
Are you okay? Do you need?
Go ahead. I'll catch up.
Okay. All right. And I'm just kind of linger on him a little bit and then go away.
Drix will follow. It's just literally going to take him just a little bit longer.
Just a second.
Movement is lowered. It sounded emergent. So.
We'll run up the stairs and
All right,
see.
you run up the stairs and you turn the corner inside the hut. It's very dark out. This is getting close to really late at night. You go in, and the table, remember from the meetings that you guys have had when you first got here and stuff like that, it's moved over to the side of the room, and so is the chairs, and nobody's in there.
Esmerelda? Hello?
You just hear
Moxie?
like, the slight bump of Gorgolon berries every now and then as they hit the top of the hut and roll off into the water. Bloop.
Can I detect magic?
Yeah, there's no magic in here.
Oh. Strange. Okay. I step back out and look up.
Roll me a perception check.
Yeah, Drix has made his way up there by now.
16?
There's no magic in the room, but there was, as you were looking up, as soon as you ran in, you barely saw at the bottom the small magical lights of a big circle around the room fade out.
Oh. Can I tell what type? Like, did it look like a teleportation circle?
It was a teleportation circle.
Mm-hmm.
Teleported. Esmerelda teleported.
Okay. And Drix is up here now?
Yeah.
Where did she go?
I don't know. She is squirrely.
She looked a little distracted as we left her.
Yes. Was Quizo with her like a minute ago?
Nope, she stayed back, and you guys walked with Quizo to the water, and then Quizo was like, "You guys, take your time." And just,
Did we see where she went in the meantime? Like when we were headed towards the pool?
She was going back. Her place, her hut that they have for her is a little further behind you, and you were going towards the water, which was on the other side of everybody in the town. You could see it from where you are, but you got to go to the other side of
She went to her hut.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or somewhere near her hut that way.
Okay. Well, I guess that's as good. And there's nobody else around. Nobody else in here.
And yeah, she ran up here. You guys went in there. No, everybody's in town.
Okay. I guess we go check out her place. If we see anything.
Yeah, you go back down. I guess I'll point out this time you're going around everybody, or you're going through different paths. You get into her place. You've been into her place maybe once or twice. Looking around, you remember when you were at the Ardenia Kingdom, where she had an office. She had boxes stacked in weird ways and like intricate trinkets and doodads on the wall moving, and the room seemed like it was floating out in space. Here it all just looks disheveled. Things look like thrown in on the floor. Maybe this goes up here. They don't really know. It's in disarray. So already it looks like the room has, in a way, been creatively ransacked. So roll me an insight check with disadvantage.
Do that with all my checks anyway.
Inside. 16.
Okay.
Bad. What's my... Sorry.
It's okay. 16's pretty good.
Oh, God, yeah, like a 23.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Damn.
My insights.
Zeph does remember, Summer Song asking her for a few different things, and you remember some of them were like either potions or scrolls or something that did something, and it seems to be like a shelf where there's like a bunch of the same kind of bottle made that are filled with different liquids. But Drix, you remember that they all were the same thing, so there's like one that is not the same. That's like on a table right beside the shelf, but in the same kind of jar, like she was working on it.
Can I go grab it and then inspect it in some manner?
Sure. So, roll me an Arcana check.
Okay. All right. This isn't going to be as good. But it's all right. The 14.
It's maybe it's kind of like a magical concoction you've seen one time with your own tribe when you were younger, when they were talking about hopping between the magical planes of existence. Maybe this has something to do with planar travel or something. But it seems weird and off.
Do you let Zeph know this?
Yes. Yes. I'm going to take it. I mean, because obviously it will have some significance.
Can I do an inspection on it? Can I, once he tells me, can I look at it closer?
Sure, just roll me an investigation check for that general area in the bottles you saw.
Yeah,
What do
sure.
you got? Plus 10 or plus 2?
No. It's a 5.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Like you rolled a 5?
Oh, Zeph the detective. I rolled a 5.
Oh.
No, I rolled a 4, and I have 1 to investigation.
You have no idea. You have no idea
I
about
have no
anything.
idea.
Like, you remember, yeah, I mean, this is not like her. This is
I
all
love
super
that.
messy.
That's pretty good. I was like, oh, yeah, thanks. You know, rolling 5s. Yeah, nothing. No clue. Okay. And so any of the scrolls that are different, if we saw different potions, but any
there's a bunch of different potion bottles on
the
this shelf, but there doesn't seem to be a lot of scrolls. There's a lot of scrolls in like a couple barrels over here, but the barrels look broke and they're like falling out a little bit.
Jeez. She was a mess.
But her place back at Ardenia Kingdom wasn't.
Yeah.
She was scrambling for something.
Somebody was.
I doubt anybody else would be in here that would be scrambling for.
I mean, what was she concerned about, I wonder?
Well, she left in a hurry. Maybe we should see if she mentioned anything to anyone. Quizo's probably the only one not dancing.
Yeah, let's go find Quizo and see if he saw anything. Or
roll a perception check. I'm going to see where Quizo might be.
23.
22.
Yeah, as you guys get close to back to the water where you were, you see through some like thickets where some bigger trees are, and it looks like there's like a makeshift hut that way. You can just see Quizo in the path, throwing this like tomahawk almost, just like throwing off screen something behind a tree you can't really see. It looks like he's like maybe practicing or something.
All right, let's go talk to Quizo.
As you get closer, you hear the smack as you look over, and there's 3 just like blades stuck into like the side of this tree. He notices you coming. Oh, it's not a Gorgolon tree. Don't worry, it's not gonna hurt it.
Are you preparing for something?
I am anxious.
Blowing off steam is more like.
I don't know what to do with my hands. How are you two?
Good. What has you so anxious?
The big foot of his wife. The giant dinosaur way up. He just looks at Drix. It's a miracle. You guys just like winces. This is like. Quizo just looks at Drix. Yes, hurry. Uh,
She's too big for the Gorgolon tribe village, isn't she?
we will seek more space when this is all over, but we will see this to the end. Have you found that message I'll send to people at the wall?
Um, yes. We need to get a message out that in what is it, two and a quarter, 3 and a quarter, 3 days? How many days do we have till Incantinka?
Well,
3?
it's still really late at night, so it's like 3 and a couple.
Yeah, that we have 3 days or so, but that the Fae are still here and they are still under the impression that we are enemies, and we have to do everything that we can to express to them that we are not.
Do you know if Esmerelda sent message to Ray?
I don't know.
Do you have any idea where she might have gone to? We saw she
Went back towards her place when we left to go to the spring.
Right.
I don't know if she went to her place.
Did you see how she was? Her
She's always like that.
demeanor? Okay, so it's nothing normal? Or abnormal?
Are you kidding me? Sometimes I can't tell if she's under this dance spell or not, because sometimes I look over and she's breaking a hip, and then I look back and she's looking at rocks, and then I look back. That's just who she is. She's brilliant, but... Ugh.
Was there anyone else that she had developed any kind of rapport with here? Someone who may have seen or heard something?
She was good friends with Thurnell.
But I'm guessing he is also dancing.
Well, he's part of the tribe, yes. Even the Aboriginalists seem to be really getting into this.
Don't want to steal their thunder. No wordplay intended.
Mm-hmm.
But we still have matters to deal with, and I don't have the patience for people to dance for 2 days. Did Hygentor ever make it back to the tribe?
Yes, he's here.
Is he dancing?
I wouldn't call it that.
Yeah. Well, I can deal with at least one idiot. So perhaps we can get some information out of Hygentor, or maybe he can more accurately identify this potion that Esmeralda was working on.
Very good. Well, we're going to go towards the wall. There's not much I can do left here. But, look, I don't know what you've really done lately. I mean, you can only describe words to me. But I know what you've done for me and for her. And I know what you're going to keep doing, both of you. So, just know the tribes are coming together. I've got that.
Thank you, Quizo.
Thank you. I just stand back and kind of like, all right.
You just see
Very
him
awkward.
whisper something in Drix's ear from where you are. And just kind of pat his chest really hard, kind of pushes him back a little bit.
Drix is probably going to stumble a little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit, 'cause he's a little infirmed.
And he's just going to look at you, Zeph. And walk up and just like jump on his wife's leg and just crawl up her leg. And he's got like a rope system on her back now that he just like pulls like he's going up the Great Wall of China.
Are you going to type? Are you going to type what he told me?
I'll type it in the chat. Don't look at the chat, Mariah.
In the Twitch chat?
Yeah, I'm going to type it in the chat so
Oh.
everyone on Twitch sees it but you.
Oh, great.
They're going to like type it in. Okay.
Oh, good.
All right, the wife and Quizo on her back waving as she's like 5-6 stories walks out before you can actually see for the first time someone going out like through the jungle, and you can slightly see like the magical disappearance of their body past leaves, whereas before people just run through the jungle and you're back in the jungle.
So that's what it looks like. Let's go find Hygentor. Have you've dealt with him before? Yes.
I have met him, not so much dealt with him.
Take some deep, calming breaths. He's kind of a lot.
Oh, good. Just what we need right now.
Yes, a lot. So can I go back out to where the tribe is and spot Hygentor?
Immediately, as soon as you get out into the big dancing crowd, you've never really stood at this angle before. He's kind of hiding himself in like the darkness behind a hut, and you see him just like looking around, doing like this little dance. Pulls this big flask out from behind him.
Oh, good. He's going to be at the top of his game, I see.
Just kind of dancing, but like getting closer to like the back of a hut.
Drix is just gonna go right over there. You're not terribly stealthy.
Psst, get out of here, you ruined it for me.
What are you doing?
I'm getting the hell out of here.
Then just go.
It doesn't work like that.
You hear, Hygentor! And you look behind you, and there's this, like, all white covered lizard folk aboriginalist that's just like.
He's like, ah! The spirit takes me this way.
Drix is gonna, like, step in between, and I just need to confer with him for a moment, and then you can have him for as long as you want him.
Ugh. He turns around and goes back.
Oh, you saved me again, Drix.
Yes.
Perhaps I could tattoo your face.
I cannot believe I have made a habit of it.
Yes. What do you want? I don't have a lot of time.
Have you had any interactions with Esmerelda in her time here?
Of course. Her and I were seeing each other.
Yes. Well, she's gone missing.
No, I saw her. She ran up the stairs.
And then what? What did she do?
She teleported.
Do you have any idea where?
No.
Do you know about the potions she was working on?
Yes, so do you. What are you trying to pull?
She left unexpectedly, and we have some very important business that we have to finish up, and we need her help to do it.
Yes. Well, I don't have a lot of time. If you want to figure out what she was doing, I don't know. Check that book she's always writing in.
He's gonna sneak kind of into the crevice and be like,
tell him I went the other way.
Drix is gonna grab Hygentor by his tail.
No!
And pull him back out, and then Drix is gonna march right out into the middle of the crowd with Hygentor and drop him.
What are you doing?
You need the exercise.
they're just gonna like grab onto him, like straighten him out, like his old frail body. He's got to be late older guy.
Oh.
And just like they have different parts of him as the spirit like takes him up like in a big cheerleading like T.
Oh, fine. Check a book. She went somewhere. She learned something. I don't know. She got a dream.
Where is the book?
She keeps it on a desk next to a picture of me. Oh.
That actually got hurt. Neighbors are gonna kill me.
Drix is gonna just give him a nod and head back towards Esmerelda's hut.
Walking off, seeing them dancing, passing him around.
Whoa!
You get back to her hut, and yes, desk where that bottle of the strange color was. There's a couple of drawers, and like one of them's open, and it looks like it's just all filled with like a blue powder. Just that drawer.
Do I recognize this blue powder?
No.
Do I recognize it?
No. You were in the kingdom for 50 years. Roll me
Yeah.
a history check.
Oh god. It's like blue cocaine. It's my history.
You just call it blow.
Oh, my history is actually really good. What'd I get? I got a 21.
Nice.
It's yeah, you remember you know what, every year when there's like big festivals in the residential area of Ardenia, she uses this stuff she calls pixie dust. She like makes things float for the kids and stuff. Strange that she'd have a whole drawer full of it at her desk. Must be important to her.
Okay.
Pixie dust.
Pixie dust.
Yeah, pixie dust.
Is she doing parlor tricks for the tribe?
Maybe. And it's weird too. It's like one drawer stuck out. There's like a couple drawers on the other side, but this is the one stuck out and kind of crooked.
Where would I know where she would get said pixie dust? Like, does it come from pixies?
No, I don't think you would have ever known where she. I mean, you would assume, but you know, she makes it.
Okay.
I'm gonna cast detect magic.
Okay, yeah, it's definitely a magical powder that makes things levitate.
Okay. I'm gonna take some.
Yeah, I'll take some too.
Just like a scoop as it like pours out the side of your hands in your pocket.
I have a little pouch.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
A little
I
pouch
have
out.
an herbalism kit and a component pouch, so I'm gonna take out a vial.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll put some in. And then I'm kind of doing it. I'm like, I'm not sure why I'm doing this because I can levitate, but yeah.
Hey, it's novel. It's the snow globe.
Maybe something else needs to go up. Yeah.
All right. Add a vial and a little jar of pixie dust to your inventory.
All right. I'm gonna look for the table and a picture of Hygentor.
There is no picture of Hygentor.
Yeah,
Shocking.
it would be. But do I see any other like tables or any other place that a book might be on, a journal? Do I see a journal anywhere?
There's a desk.
Yeah.
There's nothing on it. No, I take it back. There's like a big stack of papers.
Is there any drawers on it? Can I investigate the desk? See if I can
There's two
find
drawers. Lots of different things in the left drawer. It would take forever to identify every single thing in that drawer. But the right side of the drawer has a book on it that's like blue leather bound.
I'm gonna pull that out and take a look at it.
Yeah, thumbing through, seems she dates entries, different things. Oh, actually, something says something about getting demi-plane scrolls for Summer Song. Summer Song has a heart where the O is. Okay. There's some more dated stuff. Making potions of demi-plane. Summer Song's written 3 more times. Still hearts where the O's are. One of them went bad. She's really anxious and nervous. And then there's a diary entry. There's some explicit language in a positive way about Summer Song. I will not be reading it for this chat. And then it's... Oh, shit. This one was dated, like, today. Finally getting to the... Go to the Fae. Ardenia Kingdom, gotta go. And, like, gotta go is, like, scratchy. It looks like it was quick.
She
went to the Fae.
went to the Fae? To
See, I
what
could get us to
end?
the Fae. We have no idea where in the Fae he was going. How is it that we're dealing with end of the world sort of things and people can't communicate with one another? We were right there.
We were.
How rude.
Why would she want to go there? She could have just sent a message. Like, what did she have to do there instead of just communicating with somebody.
I'm not sure, unless it has something to do with this lovey-dovey summer song talk.
Right. Did we tell her Summer Song was? I don't think we communicated really with her.
Not effectively.
Hmm. Hmm.
That's going to be an uncomfortable conversation.
Definitely will be.
I don't mind. I'll do that.
Yes.
Anyway,
You're good at uncomfortable conversations.
is there anything else written about the Fae? Does she have any idea where she's going specifically, or
Did she
just
mention any other Fae
Roll
names?
me an investigation check, going back to like maybe towards the middle of this like journal. Not so much where you in the present time, but going back further entries.
It's still pretty good. Even
Summer Song Esmerelda fanfic. That's what Michael wants.
Oh my gosh.
That's a 19.
Oh yeah, as you go back, there are like some colored pages of like magical, which you can imagine is the Fae. She has diary entries that talk about how she knows there's a connection to the Fae at the Kingdom. She's on to Perry more about something. She's gonna find it. She's so excited. She's fangirl over the Fae. She knows Summer Song is from the Fae, so that's not on this page, but that's like a little indication. And she's always wanted to go. But she's never been. She's been waiting for the right time. She seems like she has high expectations for the Fae.
She's got a Fae kink.
It is a pretty place.
Oh.
But there's no mention of like a specific place, like a specific location.
No.
Bummer.
Do you know how to use one of these potions by chance?
Are we to assume that since I did my something was off about the one I picked up, that that's the one that went bad and the rest are the normal ones?
I would make that assumption. Now, is that an assumption that will turn out not to be an assumption? You never know. I'm leaving my options open here, people.
Oh, okay.
I want to take a couple of the normal ones.
Yeah, I'll try that too. And
Don't just pocket some of these guys.
Cool. Add how many? There was 4 up on the shelf.
I'll
take 2. Yeah.
Okay, 2 and 2.
What are we adding to our inventory?
What are they called?
2 demi-plane potions.
Demi-plane potions.
What answers that?
And you have the one bad one.
And I have the bad one, yeah.
Good.
Yeah, I'll throw that at somebody.
Melt them into a demi-plane.
But only like half.
Yeah. They got it ingested.
I'm pretty sure I could force somebody to ingest something.
Drink this. But yeah, the room just looks like she is a mess.
So, I mean...
So we have no clue to where she's actually gone to.
No.
Somewhere in the Fae.
No, and I could attempt to scry on her, but I would have to rest. I don't have that in me currently.
No. Do I know that last time we spoke before we like ascended to the cosmos, I talked to her about communicating with people in Emerald City, Ardenia, to build shrines to Summer Song.
Yeah.
In hopes to connect with him. Is there any indication that she actually did that?
Yeah, there's a couple journal entries as you guys look back, a couple pages back. She doesn't write the messages, but she says she reached out to great success to the major cities of Colbrodor.
Okay. So word is out that there is now a time god.
Okay. Good to know.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I mean, it's a risk, but fortune favors the brave. I mean, we could try drinking one of these potions and see what it does.
With no destination?
I mean, it might be like set for a destination, right?
Is that how it works?
I don't know.
I am no wizard.
I'm tired and not thinking clearly, obviously.
Well, she said that there was a connection from Ardenia to the Fae. So maybe if we go to Ardenia, we can find out further about this.
Well, I think she's talking about the portal.
Oh, the portal down below? Oh.
In,
So she just knew about
Wadaka
that?
Haddock.
Oh, Wahakala.
Wadaka Haddock.
What? Waterburger.
I love Waterburger.
I love Waterburger too.
Yeah, I've had that in years.
Okay.
All right. I can get us back to the Fae. Again, I gotta rest though. Like I don't have the spell.
You cannot handle the Fae until you are fully back to yourself. I know your limits.
I don't want to, because Drix wants to like finish things, but he's gonna have to take a long rest. Like,
Okay.
He has to. I don't like it, but he has to. It might be a fitful sleep, but he's got to fucking sleep.
I'm realizing that now that we don't have Summer Song, we cannot just send to anybody out there. We have to actually travel. He was always able to communicate.
I have access to certain spells that will help us communicate, but not currently. So we're gonna have to like take a long rest.
Take a rest.
Yeah. Are you going to your place, your hut?
No. I have one slot left in this spell slot, and I would like to go to as far in, like I don't want to leave the circle, but like as away from the village as I can be. Maybe up where we land, then come down the steps.
Cool.
And I'm gonna cast my Druid Grove.
Sweet. All right, describe what it looks like.
Drix like will go over, like find a spot kind of and go down and pick up a clump of dirt, and he like sprinkles it through his hands and lets it fall. When it falls, that sort of green smoke that comes out of him. It's a lot brighter though, much more intense, verdant green comes out, and like all of the like new plants don't grow, but all of the plants that are in the immediate vicinity, I think it's a 20 by 20. No, it's a 30-foot cube. No, it's as small as 30 foot or as big as 90 foot. I can make a huge druid go. I'll just do the 30-foot cube.
All right, cool.
I don't need all that space. Anyway, all the plants reshape into like a plant tree house kind of thing.
Cool.
And only I can get inside, but I can make it so Zeph can get inside.
Okay. Are we taking an 8-hour rest inside?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Gonna need that.
All right, let's go to sleep. Zeph.
Oh no, this is what I was.
Oh, this is what I was afraid of too.
As you dream, what is a really, really, really good dream for Zeph?
A really good dream for Zeph. I think one might be maybe a dream about the future. Maybe traveling along with Drix in forests and mountaintops and riding storms. Adventure.
The sky goes black in storm. Except this time, just as quickly, the clouds move away and all that's left is the dark sky. And this time, fog pours over below you. So it's just darkness above and fog. below you. And there's just in slow motion, really bright, where the darkness and fog don't matter, elegant sparkle across the air of this lightning bolt forming. It picks up from feet in front of you and meets the long strand from the sky. Sends bright light in every direction. It's so bright you almost feel like you wake up and you're out of body looking at your body in Drix, but you can also tell you're asleep. And you're sitting with Talos. And it's the same hut, or it's the same Druid Grove and everything that he made, but it's all white. It's bright white, with like small little bits of lightning shooting and moving in different corners of your eye on the walls. And he sits there, smiling. As you turn and see him, he talks to you and he says, "You did fantastic, my child. The gods cheer your name."
Do they, all of them?
Yes. I could not be more proud of you. You came to me, and you betrayed me by leaving. But I understood because you had a greater purpose. I stood with you while you figured out what that purpose was until you found it. To defeat this god that has been messing with all of us. And then you ascended to where I was after you asked to converse with other gods. And then you defeated that god. And here you are now. I could not be proud of what you accomplished, the scale you accomplished. Everyone talks of you. And when you join me up here, I am proud and terrified you might replace me. So now, Zeph, my favorite amongst all of the humanoids of Silvernell, join me in the great storm above.
Just gonna kind of look around for a second and look at him. I appreciate finally the gifts you have given me, where I think before I saw it as almost a curse because I didn't know how to wield it. And I finally learned to harness it, and even though, and probably by your design, I still don't have full control, I now know what I'm capable of. And I killed a god. That's, I mean, not many people can say that.
Your place is amongst the gods, Zeph. And he reaches out his hand.
I'm not quite sure it is. You asked me once what I still felt like I had to do. And I don't think I ever gave you quite a straight answer about that because I didn't know what that was. And yes, I have won battles. I have fought. I have destroyed. I have done things I'm not proud of, created chaos. And then I finally defeated Asgarath. With the help, though, of my amazing party. I could not have done it without them.
Yes.
So I just don't feel like that is the end of my journey, though. I don't feel like that's it, and then I'm spent and I'm done. This power that you've given me, I have only just discovered. And think about what I can do on the mortal plane with it now. What I can accomplish. I can't just have discovered it and just to kill Asgarath. I'm not going to give him that much power.
Now imagine what you could do amongst the Celestials. View upon all the pieces that are broken.
I only see that as a prison. You have this realm that you can only participate in, and so many of you try to break out of it. Why? I don't want to be there. I don't want to be stuck
Zeph,
there.
you are being talked about amongst thousands of living marvels. Your name is parallel with Ascension.
Great.
This is your time. Cause the havoc up here. Let's go, Zeph.
No, I can't. I can't go now. I can't.
Is it because you believe you are stronger than me now? Do you not see
No.
anything you can do down here, I can do better. But anything I do up there, you might be able to do better. There is no place for you here.
I think there's more to me than a storm. There's more to me than wrath and creating chaos. And there's other aspects of me that a god like yourself, I don't think could understand. But being mortal, finding people, finding your connection to this world is so powerful, and I'm not ready to give that up. I can't. I've found somebody that I want to travel, that I want to be with. And it supersedes being a god.
You've even created a storm in our relationship. Magnificent.
Well,
This
you knew
is-
it wasn't going to be easy.
Never is, it never was. So, this is your choice.
This is my choice.
You will have to come eventually.
Maybe one day I will. But not now.
I see this as a disappointment.
And you?
I understand, Zeph. Well, I guess you've had your peek into the worlds beyond. You'll be asked a lot of questions in your life. I wish you the best of luck in all your responses. May the storm rage on, Zeph. And you're back in that peaceful dream. As you guys wake up, Zeph, remove all of your cleric levels.
Oh, shit.
So
And-
am I gonna get my dream?
Drix. No, it's the best night of fucking sleep of your life.
Oh, okay. Good.
And you feel Stax is no longer with you.
But that's okay, because I already multi-class.
We will be right back. We will take 15-minute bathroom break. See you all soon.
What are you telling me about Zeph now? What?
Hello, everybody. Welcome back from the bathroom break.
That's new to me.
Oh, hope everybody's
That was
feeling good and
Big
ready to keep
mouthful
going.
of steak.
Welcome back. All right. During that dramatic role-playing time things we were doing, Musical Mike put in a random problem for 4,500 rooter, which is a good reminder for everybody. Spend your rooter points. Make things happen. And of course, Michael, watching this, is going to make a problem.
Random problem.
I have
So-
random-
Man.
This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to roll a d6. Drix, you be 1, 2, 3. Zeph, you be 4, 5, 6. Lasu gets the problem.
Oh, man. I just had a problem.
It's a 4. So, Mariah, during that dream, you rolled over and crushed those 2 potions.
My potion.
Yeah, your 2 potions. And they
Do they
spilled.
they don't transform me into a new place?
No, you have to consume them to cast them. So
I just wake up in a puddle and be like, that's not me. That I didn't do that. Look, there's glass. I just my bad. It just looks straight. It's like just imagine.
I mean, he'd be able to smell it, so it probably smells like potions.
Okay.
That's what I'm believing.
Light pours through the window, and there's a waft of potion in the air.
Best part of waking up is noxious potion fumes. So, do you remember the conversation we had, Scotty, about the death domain stuff?
Yes.
So has that taken effect since I did my long rest?
About your about when you got it with leveling up. Just remind the audience and everybody of it, because I think yes, but I want to make sure.
Okay, so Dax has been attached to Drix for a long time now, and even though Dax has to go back up to his plane of existence because he was done helping me down here, this death domain concept has sort of chosen Drix.
Right, you still retain all of the abilities of the death domain.
Right.
It's just, you're not like the cleric who just gets her power from somebody. He's already given it to you, and he's also like, I'm along for the ride to help you.
So Drix has taken 3 levels of cleric, death domain, and in doing so, when he wakes up, wounds closed up and rejuvenated. My hit points are ridiculous. From his eyes going all the way down his body, these very distinct black marks in his scale pattern have manifested, and his eyes are a bit brighter yellow.
Ooh. Zeph, you see bright yellow eyes.
Ooh, ooh. Here I am covered in potion.
The sun is just now coming up outside, so it's a creamsicle right now in the sky. Beautiful orange color.
You look different.
Yes. Feel a little different. Something Stax left behind, I think. You seem different too.
Yes. I think Talos and I are done with each other. I think he's left.
They can do that?
Apparently so. It's a god. So I can't say that I'm not relieved, actually. He was pressing me, and I didn't oblige him.
What did he want?
He wanted me to rule next to him.
Like now?
Like now. Like leave this and become a god? I don't know. Don't know how that works. And after all this, I still don't.
I will admit I do not fully understand your connection, or I guess lack thereof, to Talos. I have only had moderate interactions with other clerics throughout my life. But why wouldn't you want that?
Well, you know me, and I'm not a normal. Never really, you know, bend to his will. I never sought to fold people under rule. He was a part of me, and that part of me was suppressed for a long time. And I had this connection, but I never nurtured it. I don't think I didn't like where it led me, but finally gave in. And I could wield his power. That doesn't mean that I necessarily wanted to worship. We have met so many gods along. And I don't think that's me anymore. I don't think giving myself somebody like that, one, is healthy, because he's kind of a prick.
I got that sense.
So I didn't want to rule by his side. This person who had this god who had tortured me for most of my life, honestly. He gave me great power, and I was appreciative of that. I found my way, but I didn't want to leave here. I didn't want to leave you. I don't think if it wasn't for you, I don't know if I'd have much left here to fight for. But I said no. Because I want to be with you.
The plumes around the back of Drix's head are going to kind of puff up a little bit. I don't know if he can blush. He can probably blush. Most things blush, right?
Be a lot of blood through those scales.
Yeah,
That
Like a little
reptile leather.
chameleon.
a little chameleon.
It's kind of like...
Change a little bit.
The anatomy of this humanoid.
That is surprising and flattering. I thank you.
Are you blushing?
My face does feel hot.
I think that's what that is.
Yes. I don't know that I have met many that would deny an open invitation to ascending.
You're worth it.
Thank you. I will make sure to be worthy of it.
I don't think you have to try. Look what we've done. Look what we've done together. I beat the shit out of you.
I did.
And you're still here. That's awesome.
I am. It was.
Good.
Yes.
I felt so bad. I felt so guilty. But having this sleep and you telling Talos no, and I don't know. I feel this sense of just accomplishment, and I don't know. If you want to beat the shit out of me anytime, fine.
Usually,
There are some viewers in the room.
Listen, I gotta figure out what I'm gonna be now, all over again.
usually save that for the second or third date, but
You know, our
yeah.
first date was literally killing a god. So I feel like
Oh, it's all downhill.
kind of skipped
Oh, good.
many different steps. Like, so we're
Um,
unconventional.
yes. If you have lost your connection to Talos, what does that mean?
I don't think I have any of his powers left. Haven't tried. I
Do you-
kind of try to like do a little. I have something, but it's not connected to him. I don't know.
Well, we will figure it out together. I suppose we should try to figure out where Esmeralda went.
It's a good step.
Let's go back to her hut. Should be able to scry on her.
In her hut, you are able to pass everybody and see that it's going on and people are looking tired. There must be some like anyways, there must be some tiredness that comes with whatever this is. They must be doing this on purpose. You get back to her place. You can easily see her stuff and scry on her. She is at the Ardenia Kingdom right now. She is sitting with Melody. They are eating a lot of great food. Pim is standing nearby the table as they eat. There are a couple of guards, and it looks like there is maybe a general of like the Turtles, so the Canterville soldiers. Yeah, and Melody and her are laughing.
Can I tell where they are in the castle?
They are in that room that had the piano where Escanor Doom was trying to shove all that gold.
Yes.
But it looks like the piano's gone.
Okay. Then I would like to go back outside and cast transport via plants.
To the potted plant in the room.
To come out of the potted plant in the room.
All right.
I'm a stickler for entrances.
Yeah, you enter the Ardenia leisurely room. It's got big windows that go on three sides of like this little outlet on the wall. It's about 2-story room almost. Light is pouring in through like the purple green curtains. It's kind of not transparent, but you can see through it a little bit. There are big sofas on the side that are very decorative, and a couple of tables and chairs, and then a door. A big, tall door. There was a piano at one time, but now there's a large table, and just like I described before, they're eating, and Esmeralda almost spits out all of these grapes. His moxie pops out of this bowl with like a peach rolling off of his head, chewing something. Melody sits at the table like she was laughing and just sees you shooting into the room, and Pim turns with his big iguana-like head. Drix, ever heard of a door?
This was faster.
Clean your feet. Don't get it into the room. This is our best room.
I just took a bath.
You took a bath?
Yes. You should try it.
Are you hungry?
Starved, actually.
Who is this? Should we be alarmed? Oh, no, I'm sorry. He's a great ally to the kingdom. This is Drix we were telling you about. An opal, I believe you go by?
For now.
Not quite.
A lot.
For now.
A lot of our citizens have been calling her Keepish. It's lizard folk for Storm. She's got a whole thing. But anyways, get some food. We have great news.
Yes, has Drix seen Melody before?
I don't think I've ever.
Yes, because when Summer Song first came into our story, it was through
him.
She was bringing him.
Met
her a month ago, maybe.
Okay, so Drix will notice her and come around, and I'm surprised to see you here.
You've changed your appearances quite a bit.
Yeah.
In a good way.
Thank you. I hope that you weathered your captivity well.
I am standing here. I am very grateful to the Ardenia Kingdom and to you and Summer Song and Zeph.
Yes.
Yes.
Everything is going to be all right. I actually wasn't in truly a lot of danger, I should say. I had tried to help a hopper, and there was a language barrier, and they thought I was trying to do something else, and so they used me as a bargaining tool. But thanks to the Ardenia Kingdom, I was able to get out.
Excellent. I'm glad a happy ending came about. Do you... This is a lot to sort of unpack. You know about the Fae that have been invading the material plane, yes?
Oh, yes. I mean, Summersong and I began to talk about this, but we didn't have a lot of time. It's quite extensive. In fact, there's a place in the Fae called the Quiet Highlands. I'm already telling on your face that you probably know this, but just in case, they're all here, and they're all just as scared as I was. But we have made a great plan. Esmerelda and I last night went to the Fae and got a great hero, folk hero of the land, someone to speak Sylvan on behalf of the people, and we plan to skywrite his words thanks to Summersong. In fact, it shall begin shortly. Ray is the leader of a place called Veilcast.
Yes.
Yes, he has a great amount of students, wizards that are going to write in the sky. And this is going to take time, but I believe if this great hero writes the right words, they can be persuaded.
I will choose to have faith. The only question that I am curious about is their exact means of returning to the Fae. It has been unclear from the start the nature of these little pockets and portals.
Mm-hmm.
I did not get the impression that they are always a two-way street or always open.
Well, I can't speak for all of them. However, I know two things for certain. The servitors have found a way to live within the trees. Now, when I say that, it's sort of leafy. They go in, but it's much larger on the inside. Well, I believe
I literally just transported myself and Zeph through that plotted plan.
yes,
so
but
I'm
it's
familiar with the concept.
it's bigger. It's like
Yeah.
a actual holding place. Now, those two also connect here to there, so I believe it's simply closing this doorway. Now, that's one thing I know about them. The other thing I know is there is no way to climb down the walls of what the material world calls Colbrador. It will just drop off into a dark nothingness where you will go forever. There seems to be some time mesh that brings our world to your world.
So what steps do we need to take to ensure that the Fae are able to return?
Well, we've been talking about this. Summer Song says, yeah. So we think if they got here, there's surely a way to get back. Ardenia has helped us with their history books, and we've seen that at no point during the exploration of the walls of Colbrador have they ever been any closer to Born Freon. So we don't believe anyone climbed here. So whatever way they got here, probably could go back the same. So once we begin our plan to Summersong's plan to skywrite,
Yes.
we will take it from there and see what we are dealing with left.
Well, I will join you for a bite, Zeph, if you are hungry. And then this skywriting is going to begin.
And you can see out the window that orange sunrise coming in. And they all just kind of look at each other, and Pym says, "When it reaches above the horizon."
Very well.
The guards are going to go and just open the 2-story windows, drapes back, so you just get this big, bright view, maybe blocked by the space in between windows.
How far can we see?
The kingdom is the tallest part of the tallest tree in the jungle. You can oversee the top of the jungle all the way to far, far off in the distance. You can tell where it drops off the corridor. So you can see up to probably 30 miles.
Do I see any of the devastation from the Peacelia temples?
No, and from this angle, you wouldn't be able to see the closest one, which is the Origin burials, because this window is facing the other way.
Okay. All right. What are we eating?
Have we told them about Asgarath? Have we? I mean, should we? No.
We haven't.
I look at Drix and I'm just like,
I feel like we need to do that, like, with more
with
representatives.
the council.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, I guess. Or at least, like, Yeah, I guess. But I feel like we need to resolve this Fae issue to make sure that all of it's taken care of.
Okay.
Because that's the last like little bit of that conflict that directly affects Cold Rador.
Right.
All right, I'm going to say, Drix, they know you very well. They'll bring you your perfect food. Describe that. Opal or Keepish or whatever you are. They don't know you very well, so you're going to have to describe perfectly what they can make you. But
That's so appropriate.
let
That
Drix
is
go first.
appropriate.
That's so appropriate. Well, Drix is having a rare Dilophosaurus steak and Troodon eggs.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
Nice. I think Zeph, growing up, I think in Hina, Naomi, and with Abza, has more of like an Asian flavor to what she likes. So, maybe a bowl of rice with a very like loosely cooked egg on top, and some sprouts of, popular plants near Ravenforge.
Oh, how quickly they got that for you.
What? Such service.
Be our guest, be our guest. The Pym has left the room. Those guards in general they were talking to have left. It's very nice. There's only like one guard in the room, and he really seems to be like forgetting that he's a guard and not a maid because he's like trying to tidy up a big old what looks to be kind of like a chessboard in the corner.
Is Esmerelda still with us?
Yes, she's still eating.
I'm gonna give her that journal I took from her hut.
She's just bitten into this big like green melon, just like dripping down her face.
Look,
You didn't read it, did you?
I'm not going to lie to you. I did read it, but I promise it was just out of concern. We've been dealing with a lot of shit. And I was concerned that you were in danger, and we were just trying to find clues as to how to find you.
Did you read page 44?
I believe so.
That was a spell I was trying, called, Nothing she say you will believe.
Judgment-free zone, Esmeralda.
That's okay. You have bigger fish to fry, like, I don't know, Asgarath and his dragons coming to kill everyone.
Well, we took care of that. I don't want to have to tell this story a bunch of times, so I feel that would be best if we addressed the council at large, since they all had a stake in this conflict as well.
Kaboom! The doors open. Pym walks in. All right, it's about time, everyone. A couple of guards walk in. Some Toral guards walk in. Some Vail half-elf guards walk in. Seems to be a meeting coming into this. And they all step out of the way as forward through the crowd, jumping up on the table. Hello. It is I. A couple of like fairies behind him that look like a papaya, strawberry, cherry. He says, I have already begun to tell them, Drix, of your heroic conversations with the one and only Watole, that you have brought down the Titans.
A small part of me, Drix is going to look at Zeph and say, a small part of me hoped all of that had been just a crazy fever dream.
Yes, I had the fever one time with the Boko River.
It is irrelevant. To see you again, Watule. I appreciate your willingness to help us bring the Fae home.
Yes. Melody has told me that the people of the Fae have been wronged once again. I will tell them their true friend, Watule, will tell them it is time to go home. However, I don't know what we're going to do about the dragons.
Are the dragons still there?
Oh, the dragons scattered in different directions. You ran so fast. I seen it with my own eyes.
Yes.
Great. Didn't think about the dragons still being around.
The dragons, they could go here, they could go there, but dragons are not a... It is okay to have dragons. Heavy dragon is just not a problem.
I am unfamiliar with the behavior of dragon kind. So I do not know what kind of problem that poses for the Fae. Our jungle here is full of large, dangerous apex predators.
A strawberry fairy is getting a little close to your face. It starts squeaking. Oh, strawberry, she says, you are a great hero. And that do not worry about dragon, for you have taken on mountains. She likes you.
Oh.
I'm just kind of like, I'm nudged Drix to be like,
Thank you.
go.
Thank you. Say it quiet. You're very small.
All the fairies are moving towards Drix. Oh, you have returned the favor and done something nice. Oh, wait a minute. They're all like going towards you and then go right past you the windows. No, they just want to see the skywriting. You all look and turn into the air, just wizards in the air, as far as you can see in the 30-mile, making just like messages that says, "It is I, Watule!" Exclamation point. Titans have fallen. Return home. That's what it
Okay.
says.
Okay.
And he says, "They will know it is me."
Yes, that name is not very common, I don't imagine. Do you have any means of communicating with any of the Fae to make sure?
If they all will return home,
Well, yes. How do we know that this plan is going to work?
I have been promised that I could stay in this place for as long as it takes to bring the people home. But then I will go back to the Fae and check in the Fantasy Plaza, in the Dingadoodie Forest, in the Fairy Thicket, and at the fields at the Hopper's Soul.
Right. I suppose that this is in motion. If things don't work out, they will just attack us in 3 days. Super.
Pem says there will be no attack at Colbrador. We have made a deal. If you take out Asgarath, we can handle anything else that flies at us. Korog is dead, Asgarath is dead.
To that end, it would be best if we called a council meeting. We have some news about Asgarath.
We have a meeting scheduled in 2. Please feel free to stick around until then.
Thank you, Pim.
It's going to leave with the guards and the generals. Watule is like, it is beautiful, writing in the sky. Like paper is the clouds. Oh, the clouds.
Clouds.
Yes, it is what I said. Clouds.
Okay. Thank you again.
So to understand the dragons a bit more, did they leave the Fey world? Are they roaming around
I don't know.
in the Fey, or are they here in Colbrador? Where did they originate from?
Are you asking Watule, or is he just...
Yeah, Watule.
Oh, he's only heard of dragons living at, near Asgarath's cave. At the...
Feywild.
In the Feywild.
Plus, also there's another place. Let me pull up my maps.
But they're from the Feywild.
Before Death Bedrock.
Okay.
Yeah, he knows of some... Yeah, he doesn't really know anything that happens in the material world. If they are, he couldn't tell you.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Do we know that about the world? Are there dragons in other places? Are there stories of dragons? I know Cobra.
Roll a history check. One learns from the wild, one would learn from their kingdom and their Ravenforge.
I just got a 12.
I got a 17.
You've never heard of any Zeph. You heard about some ice dragons one time that lived on the cliffs between Greyhawk and the Bastion Kingdom, where Dragonborn are.
Okay.
Okay.
But I've lived my whole life in Colbrador and never come across a dragon.
No.
Right. Yeah. That's what I knew that. Like the player knew that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And you're in your 30s, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And I know all the dinosaurs, so I imagine that if there were dragons roaming around, I would probably know about it.
Right.
Okay. Then Drix finds Watule insufferable, so he's going to leave the room to go down to I guess the council chamber or that little antechamber that's next to the council chamber and wait for the meeting to start.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I also grow insufferable about this room, so stuffy and large. Perhaps I could join you, Drix?
By all means, Watule.
Come on, the girls.
I can't believe you said yes.
He is a guest in our home plane. And I don't like when the fairies attacked me, so I don't want to. I could kill them so easily, but I'd feel so bad. So, I'm going to tolerate him. He's doing us a favor.
He is. He's harmless.
Yes.
But maybe not to your mental state. Sorry.
That's all right. That's all right.
Hey, I was thinking, it's pretty confusing me being Opal. I'm thinking of coming out as Zeph to the council.
I support this wholeheartedly.
I don't know quite how they're going to react, but I think if we first tell them about Asgarath and defeating him, there might be a chance that all is forgiven. Or it could cause a shitstorm, so I just want you to be aware.
It would not be the first time I have dealt with a shitstorm in the council chamber.
Oh, me neither. No, it's constantly. That's all it is.
Regardless of how they react, I do believe that is the wise choice. You should not hide.
I don't want to hide anymore.
You're a hero. They should know your name.
Exactly.
And remind me to find Abza. Would like some more tea.
Oh, that'd be nice. Okay.
All right, so we're going to the waiting room of the Ardenia Council, basically?
Yeah, like the little antechamber outside the main council room.
Okay, nobody's in there right now. A couple hours before the session. The fire was put out. There are a couple of people waiting around to help you in this room, just kind of chilling, make sure the place is clean from the council. Ask you if there's anything you'd like.
No, thank you.
Okay. They're going to tell you they're going to stand outside the room. There's a hallway that goes off to where the Ardenia Council can come in through the back and check in, and then there's the room that leads towards the big council. So there's like those two doorways and hallways. The room's yours.
Yeah, Drake's just going to kind of pace around a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Same. I think Zeph is kind of nervous. A little twitching.
It's a funny thing, isn't it? The absurdity of it.
All right, we skipping forward 2 hours?
Sure.
Just
Is
kidding.
it 2 hours? I thought it was 2 minutes.
No, it was what he said in 2. He meant 2 hours.
Oh, I thought in a couple minutes.
I think everyone's watching the skywriting like it's like fireworks or something.
It is a funny thing, though, isn't it? Being here, about to do this, and feeling this way, considering where we've been and what we've done.
Right? That's it's weird. I just feel like when I'm in this environment, I revert back to my former self a bit. It's not where I want to be at. Somehow they still make me feel inferior.
Well, I can assure you that that is not the case.
It's not the case. I know. In my brain, Zeph knows that. My body, however.
Yes, I remember my first experience with the council when there weren't nearly as many of them. Aggravating. That never went away, really.
They're just a bunch of pompous bureaucrats that really can't get anything done. They try. They do. A lot of them have good intentions. But as you know, with all the Ravenforge asshats, that the bad ones have more influence than any of the good ones.
Small people living small lives seldom have the perspective or the awareness of how small it is. So they carry themselves with more weight, take themselves more seriously.
Look at that wisdom coming through.
I think that their intentions are noble. They can come on a little strong. But I have to have faith that the truth of all of these circumstances will prevail. And at the end of the day, what are they going to do? We literally killed a god. Not making any idle threats, but they're not
No.
anything.
It's true. It's true.
I would like for them to see you the way that you should be seen.
In walks Representative Luther from Emerald City. He's kind of hunched over, got a very happy frog-like face, a big staff made of wood that goes up and just kind of spriggles out in different directions. He says, "Hello, you have quite a fan club outside." Shut the door. Yes, I am Representative Luther. He's going to walk over towards Zeph. Perhaps Drix has introduced me. I saw what you guys did last meeting. It's quite impressive. Your abilities travel through the stories before you.
Thank you.
How have things been in Emerald City since the Peaceleaf temples fell?
Quite all right, thank you, Drix. We enacted an emergency decree and fed those who stayed inside and protected our loved ones. Thankfully, the spread has stopped. Now, if it will go away for good, that is yet to be seen. But more on the docket, I suppose.
Yes, we will not let that skirt by. We will make sure that that situation is rectified as well.
I don't doubt it. Just your showing up here today has everyone in the city excited. Everyone has heard you're going to be this council. There will not going to be a guard today outside this kingdom. And having to keep all those people back. I'm very excited for what you all have to tell us today.
Thank you, Luther. I am looking forward to telling it.
Yes. Yes, I
Place gets so dusty.
How long have you been on the council, Luther?
Oh, yeah, I think 102 years.
I just like a long time.
Yes.
102 years. I remember when they remodeled this room, it was Bad Trix's idea. The peacier room, he called it. The idea of peace in our time, coming together. Yes, it was a sweet boy before he wasn't.
Yes.
Yes.
Shame that.
Yes. I think I liked it better before. Well, I don't mean to be a sore coin in your purse. Guess I'll go inside and warm up my seat.
I'm assuming they will call the meeting to order shortly.
Yes, a little less than an hour, I suppose. I don't know, I looked at my arm. Yes.
Little sundial.
I think when I looked at my arm, I was thinking about my grandson. Oh, he's a smart one. They named him after me.
Did they?
Yes, well, they said they did. He's a peculiar kid. Anyways, I don't want to be a soybean. So stupid. He's gonna get the fuck out of there.
Yeah. If you could give us a moment to collect our thoughts before we speak with the council, that would be wonderful, Representative.
Yes, I've lost all rights to talk for this man. He's gone.
A soybean.
That was a good warm up. That was a good warm
He
up.
was.
All right, let's go.
All right.
All right, an hour passes. All right, the council is adjourned. There are tons of people outside. It is a Justin Bieber concert right now. Guards keeping everyone out. You can already hear the whispers. It's hot back there, like a backstage area. People are running around. Council members have come in. Naomi has said hello. Ray has said hello. Different representatives from Ravenforge. Ravenforge seems to have just like, when they were talking to you guys, like gush over like how there used to be a representative named Zeph here. And some of them are like, oh, shut the fuck up about it. So it's like a all right, council is in order. They're gonna have to like tell the guards to find a way to go outside and qualm people because it is loud and you can hear them through the door, and they're just gonna have to move on. They take roll call, they talk about it. They immediately are going to introduce that everyone's talking about it. They know you guys are here. They can talk about Summer Song after. They want to talk to you guys. As soon as you guys walk into the room, everyone's going to stand up and start clapping. There's a very respectful clap in the room. The window shades are all going to go up on all the archways up top, all the way around the room. And they're just going to cheer as the now like bright reddish light of the sun rising up. You can see clouds out in the distance. Watule's name out there in the distance. In the room. So I'm going to stop clapping slowly. Yes, Pen's going to calm everyone. Gertie Perps is going to be like, you two have it. Good luck.
To you or
Well, let's tell them. Why don't you start
right.
with Asgrath?
So Drix will walk out into the central like podium area and look around the room. You are all made aware of the threat of Asgrath and what he posed against Colbrador. From the time that I set out on this quest, it was important to be open and honest about what stakes we all had. We are all children of Colbrador, after all. We have followed a very long road, and much of it has been unpleasant. But we stand before you all triumphant in this effort to save Colbrador. Asgrath has been slain. In doing so, we
Woo!
have...
The crowd's going to jump up and everyone's now unprofessionally going to clap. There was no cordiality. Some people are going to scream. Some people are going to start crying. Like, this was what everyone was on pins and needles for right there. The room is wild around you. The only one who's, like, kind of got himself together, who's just kind of, like, turning and nodding people, looks relieved, grabs his mallet and knock it down, is Pim. And Gertie Perps is just, like, in the corner, like, yeah, yeah. Wow, he's gonna pull himself together. They're gonna try to get everyone quiet. The room, you can hear outside the door, the crowd goes wild out the doors. That whoever is surrounding this kingdom, all its townspeople are going crazy. Gertie Perps is going to silence everyone down and try to get you to just keep going while he's trying to get everyone down.
Thank you. We did not do it alone, and much was sacrificed to make it so. Representative Thrute has ascended to another plane of existence, along with our companion Summersong.
Claps start to get quiet.
The prophecy that we were all tethered to dealt with shattered time, all at the behest of Asgarath. He used deceit and fear, preyed on the greedy, and manipulated the weaker to worm his way into our world, to try and take it. We had to put time back together, and in doing so, a new time god was created. Sir Irva Summersong took on that burden. Representative Thrute has taken the place of Chotuku. I can only assume that they're looking down on all this, and who knows what else. In making those choices, we were given the power to defeat Asgarath. Drix is going to look over at Zeph. Fight was difficult. And my dear friend here delivered the killing blow. We have much to celebrate together, and it is only fitting that you know the truth about her. She is Representative Zeph.
The crowd is murmuring. There's conversation going on. Gertie Perps, representatives, I move to motion for an intimate council. People get kind of quiet. Representative Ray stands up from Veilcast. Gertie Perps, is this necessary? An intimate council has not been invoked in over 50 years. He says, I use my right to call intimate council. Ray says, Gertie Perps, the speaker, has invoked intimate council. He's won. I second it.
Before that is in play, I would like to speak.
Yes, go ahead.
It is true. I am Zeph, once among you as a representative. And I know I've been here before, and you all have known me as Opal, or called me other names. And I have kept quiet and hidden because of certain actions that happened here in the kingdom that I deeply regret. And I paid my life for what happened. And I came back in this form, the form you see before you. And I did not mean to deceive any of you. That was not my intention. My intention always was to save this land and to help Cobrador thrive. And I'm sorry for any pain that I have caused this community.
Crowds start talking. You hear cheering and chanting outside the kingdom. A couple of guards being knocked because the door. Naomi stands up and she says, Representative Naomi, newly elected by Ravenforge, move to second the notion for intimate council. Representative Galleon will move up for Silver Nook, also do it. And then Representative Tatiana of Northwall will do it. Luther will initiate it. All major representatives from the cities and kingdom have initiated it. All other representatives must evacuate. Some of the representatives start yelling out from other parts. It is not right in this time. We should see. She is a wanted criminal if you are not going to allow her to be herself here. And they're just, this start unprofessional bantering going back and forth. The doors, a couple guards falls, the doors burst open, and the people from the city have come into the kingdom and now are coming into the council room, moving into the circular area where you guys are, but not coming close to you guys, kind of fanning out as you see people with love and admiration in their eyes and hope, and guards trying to rush people back. Pim is going to put his hand up for the guards to stop.
Yep. Drix is going to instinctively kind of like get in a defensive position around Zeph. I don't think he can help it because it's a crowd and, primal instinct.
Gertie Perp's just going to look up at Pim. Pim is just going to yell out, "Keep the doors open!" Everyone, the crowd is like really loud. The crowd gets quiet. As Drix, you can kind of see looking up. Crowd kind of goes out into the main area, out of the place, and like out of the castle. Like everybody's here. And Ray says, under special circumstances, perhaps this could be intimate council. Pim is going to say, rules of intimate council, only the main representatives can vote. All votes require a unanimous pass. Continues Zeph, as everyone listens.
Even the townspeople?
Yep. Pim has let them leave the door open.
I don't want to hide anymore. And I stand before you completely open to your judgment on my actions. But I ask that you understand I did not do it with intention. It was an accident, and there's nothing more I can say about it. I just hope that you guys know that my intentions are true, and I will see fit to any judgment that you pass on.
You see those main representatives all look really antsy. Even Luther, who was just thinking about his crazy grandkids.
Drix is going to step. May I speak on Zeph's behalf for a moment? Zeph, do you mind?
Of course. Go ahead.
The accident that Zeph is responsible for is a tragedy. But I'll remind everyone in this room that it happened during a time of war. The city was under assault by a small army of Escanor Dooms. And she did pay the price for that accident. He killed her, and I brought her back. That was my choice.
Crowd reacts to that. Whoa.
I had quite a wake to walk through, following the misdeeds and machinations of old Drix. I have struggled to ascertain exactly where our similarities and differences begin and end. It has been a cause of much distress, if I'm being perfectly honest. But I know that something in him was broken. The dogmatic outlook that he had on the world was flawed. Yes, I brought her back. I violated the laws of nature. I am a very unnatural thing. A clone. Yet if I were not cloned, none of you would be standing here. And this kingdom would have fallen into ruin. I walked with prophecy in my shadow, but I would not have been able to make this journey without a Zeph.
Both of you roll persuasion checks. Separate persuasion checks. Also, I'll remind you guys, I think you still have your DM inspiration, if you have not already used it.
What is that?
I don't remember what it was, but I'll just...
D8 or
D8.
D4? Okay.
Not persuasion, like through the friggin' roof.
9 day!
Okay.
And tell me what you got.
20.
19.
Ray is going to say, I was aware who she was. I aided them. I have been sending messages back and forth with them. Conversing, moving forward. Not with a criminal. Not with a necromancer. With Drix and with Zeph. And Naomi is going to stand up and say, I aided them. I aided her. I kept her secret, knowing what I was doing. Luther is going to say, I don't care what they did. I don't care. Because I care about what they've done now. And Pym says, I believe we're all of the same sentiment. But I ask you, Council, putting all of their accomplishments and what was desired for our kingdom aside, are we saying we change the law now? Because that's what you'd be going against. Admission. Do we pardon them? Is this a pardon we're talking about? And Naomi's going to say, we don't have the ability to pardon them at this time. And they're like, oh, yeah, and they're going to talk about some decree, a Perrymore thing. They need time to overturn it. So Naomi's going to say she is going to resign. Everyone's going to be like, what? What's she going to say? And I, in temporary stay, like the law says, for 30 days, I get to choose my temporary, not selected. I choose Representative Zeph. A sitting representative cannot be prosecuted for previous crimes. They are automatically forgiven. And Pym is going to break up, yes, but only for 30 days, and then the council can run a vote, and Naomi's going to say, yes, but a vote of the people of Ravenforge. And Ravenforge and other representatives are going to cheer. And she is going to say, all I need is 30 days, and I believe my campaign is already put together. So if you don't mind, I'm going to move the table. Boom! Her little green light's going to go off. And I'm going to initiate this intimate council to install Representative Zeph, who can therefore choose if she stays or not, to be washed of her crimes and become a full representative. Boom! 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 All the lights go up, and she says, if that's what she wants. Naomi looks down at you. You don't have to stay in this room. We can figure out something.
I know we could. Thank you, Naomi. That is most generous of you. I don't want to cheat around this, but I feel that a majority of you who have helped us in this journey, who have helped me, known about me, I feel like we are of one mind. And I believe you know who I am. So I would gladly accept this position. And I'd like to also just let you know that Drix has been immeasurable to the defeat of Asgarath and saving Colberdor, and should also be free to use his magic, and others should be as they see fit.
Naomi is going to say, as for Drix, the head representative for the tribal council has yet to cast their vote. And Pym says, that was Thrut. Naomi says, do I really need to spell this out, people? And everyone just kind of looks at Drix. Ray says, doesn't really seem like your style, Drix. Again, if this is something you're interested in, we could find a way to let you roam free, so to speak. We need a voice of the jungle, so that we make sure we're doing this right. Long are gone the days of Perrymore and Asgarath's plants.
Well, the thing about that is, even if there were some still scuttling about, I would find them.
Everyone's gonna laugh.
I do not fully understand all it takes to have a voice among you all, but I have maintained from day one that the jungle took precedent, and I would be honored to speak on behalf of the tribes, with Top's blessing, of course, which will take another day or so before I'm able to get that, but I would count myself honored to be among you, yes. Drix is going to kind of look at Zeph and shrug.
All the lights go off in the council. Gertie Perp says installment pending upon the 30-day vote. Representative Zeph and Representative Drix. The crowd cheers. The camera just moves into your faces. Everyone's like, yeah, let's take a 5-minute bathroom break and react to this.
Did not see that happening.
Yeah, all of this is fuguzi right now. All right, we'll be back in 5 minutes. We'll see everyone soon. But now on stream. All right, welcome back. Your council members.
Yes.
Yes, we are. How strange.
The council.
I feel like
everyone's
I'm
looking
going
at
back in. I feel like I'm going back in time. I've dropped levels. I'm back on the council.
Drix just admitted he used the necromancy magic that they were pissed at Summersong for.
Yeah.
Council members just admitted they helped you.
Yeah. But hey, about that Asgarath situation.
Taken care of.
You know.
All right, the council is going to exit out of this intimate council and go back to regular. Pym is going to adjourn the council at this time, and there will be a council member. Like, the guards are going to try to, like, get everyone out before all the council members are dismissed. There's just, like, safety reasons why that shouldn't happen. But they're going to try to clear the room up, so all of that commotion is going to be happening around you right now. You probably have a clear exit out the council chamber, or council, like, lounge. out the back entrance, but you're gonna have to deal with like council members. Whereas if you go to the front, you're just dealing with everyone from the kingdom and like inside the castle before you leave. So it's like oil and water.
Is Gertie Perps still nearby?
Yes, yeah. He kind of stays behind, making sure everyone's out and making sure this place is taken care of.
Yeah, I wanted to like step aside to speak to him privately.
Yeah, he kind of takes his big wizard hat up that's kind of covering his eyes. Yes.
Delicate question. Curious. The day that the Dooms attacked, is there a list of names of citizens who fell?
I believe so.
Could you see to it that I received a copy of it, please?
I'll put it in your office. The 3rd floor, first door to the left.
Oh,
It's got
that's
the best
like a
window.
room. That's like a room that's like mine.
It's all yours.
Oh, that's
And
weird.
if you just get with Representative Naomi, she can show Zeph to her room. So cool, weird. Just, you know.
Weird. Yes. Thank you, Gertie Perps. I'm gonna go back to Zeph. I have an office.
Yes, in which you have paperwork you have to fill out. I'm going to need your forms filled out. Not right now, but
I'll look at Drix and be like, that's the worst part of this job.
Oh.
Can you write?
Racist.
It's legitimate. You have talents. Like
I can write.
you have explicitly said they've been growing.
yeah.
I mean, I probably write with them.
Yeah, like you
That's
dip
true.
it in ink and you
Yeah,
just
like,
use...
that's what I imagine is I write like, yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's
not that.
cool. Like a quill.
Yeah, that's what I would imagine. I've done that. I did it with blood from my tongue.
That's true.
I
that's
have
true.
done that. That's how I signed that shit in the previous
Canon.
timeline. It's canon. Like you literally like
So cool.
Bro. It's pretty cool. All right. Name. We are to find Naomi. What are we doing? There's a lot of people in here still.
There are. We should get out of here.
Yes. I will follow your lead. You
Okay.
are more familiar with the layout than I am.
Oh, so I have to choose one of these ways. There's no like secret.
Yeah, it's just through the lounge and out of the kingdom, or there, go to your council room, or go into the main part of the castle. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's go into the council area. So let's go
To the lounge?
Where
Or
the
the-
offices are.
where the offices are.
Okay,
Like
so you're
where
going out
the-
where the people are going.
Yeah.
Okay, well, the guards are getting everyone pushed back, relatively quickly, but there are some left behind that are, like, congratulating you. One woman who's standing with her small, like, dark gray, like, lizardfolk son is going to tell you he's been looking up to you I looked up to you when I was younger. You were someone I really related to. And I passed it down to him, and he's really excited, and he's just going to ask you if you would play slaps with him, he just has his hand like this. And she says, I'm sorry. We're just here to say thank you. He's just going to just say thank you. Just keep his hands down. And she's just going to take him away. And some other people are just going to cheer kind of awkwardly off the side like they don't have enough guts to approach you. We're just like, woo! As you guys walk on. They're pushing everyone outside. You go into... some of the council members are going down the hallway. Everyone's kind of busily moving. You're on the first floor, second floor, third floor. So you're on the first floor. Naomi's going to be... her door will be open as you're just walking down the hallway. She yells out for you guys. Tells you to come in. So we can get away from everything.
Yes.
After you.
Yeah, she's going to shut the door. She's going to turn some lights on. It's very comforting. One of the walls is all like these like purple bamboo looking tubes that are cut in ways where the whole wall is like a series of water falling and being taken up with wheels and crossing this way. And it's very relaxing. It's almost like a waterfall, but like Rube Goldberg Rube Goldberg. And she's got a nice desk, and the room's relatively empty, and the desk is really low. And she sits on this like small wooden, like brown, I don't even know what you would call that, stool-like thing. She's gonna just relax and tell you it'll take her a bit to move out everything, but you'll find this is a good office. It's the easiest to get out without people seeing you from the council.
It's good to know.
She wishes she could do more.
You've done enough. You've absolutely done enough. I can't believe you gave up your seat for me.
Well, she never really wanted it anyways. Perry Moore had put in that old Abza would get it. And when he didn't get it, he had put in an addendum on his own paperwork that if something were to happen to him, his wife would get it. I mean, long time ago. So she got it on a technicality. But, so she didn't want it. She honestly just wants to get back to Ravenforge because she's been exhausted knowing that Asgarath is everywhere. But she feels like she can finally breathe. And yeah, just gonna thank you, Drix.
Of course, Naomi. What will you do in Ravenforge?
I don't know. There's a lot of real estate where the duplicate factory used to be. So, I don't know. I'm thinking of making something. Something to help people. I don't know what yet. But, you know, we've had war with duplicates and druids and stories of wars with half-elves and dragonborns and now the war of everyone and gods. People are tired of war. I want to help make the start of a time of peace and prosperity. I'm going to start there.
A word of advice.
Yes.
Many problems in Cobrador arise because of the separation. People think that we have to exist independently from the jungle. Cohabitation is the only way. There must be a unity, a symbiosis between the people of Cobrador and Cobrador. That would be a good place to start, to teach people how to better integrate their lives with the jungle around them, with the dinosaurs.
You know, the one good thing I will say about Old Absa, and I'll say this about Old Drix too, is their initial idea about Peacelia sounds like that. Spots that would bring people, or animals, or beast, or deities, to a place of unity, where no one owned it, but everyone owned it. It's just too bad that they use that as hubs of destruction against each other and spying. But maybe there's something there. Obviously with a little rebranding. Something.
Well, I am happy to be of whatever assistance I can be to you and yours, Naomi.
Thank you.
I have an office too.
Yours is on the 3rd floor, unfortunately, all the way at the end. So you will, unfortunately, when you go to your office, have to bump into every single... If they're in the hall. You know, they're not always in the hall. Throat hated it, too.
Difference between Thrut and I can turn into a spider.
Perfect. She's going to laugh really hard like she's been tense for 20 years. She'll tell you she can, later on go through, the main procedures and everything. She's heard about them so she can help make sure that you're going into it's not too strenuous.
Where is Abza? Clone Abza. That's still weird. My Abza.
Well, he found out last night that Asgareth had been killed, and there's been some great fear, and people are still kind of unsure if there are dragons to fear. Now, councils have procedures just in case there are to be a dragon found towards the kingdom. Old tales, I guess. I've never really heard a lot about this. But our armies and guards and the other kingdoms coming together, everyone seems pretty confident. Like, I feel like this is going to bring people together. The idea that something is coming. And just between you and me, maybe it's good that they believe together that there is an outside force that will harm them. Something to bring the world together.
Yes.
I hope it never comes.
Fear can be a powerful manipulator and a motivation.
Not perfect, but if it's all you've got.
Hopefully, in this newfound unity, they can all learn that there is more to it, a better, greater benefit than merely enduring the next cataclysm. But I will take it as a good first step in the right direction.
Perfect. Well, just keep me up to date, you know. I don't know if you still use your home outside of Ravenforge. I don't know if you ever go back there.
I have been back here and there through our journeys, but no, you're welcome to it if you want it.
The home?
My home. I know you have a home too.
It's very generous of you, but, you know, my Abza was forced into something that he did not know what he was doing, and when he found out, it was too late. I love him. I'm not going to carry any negative notions about him in my home. I'm going to see where he stood and see where he lay. I'm going to love him and love our home that we built, because there's nothing bad about our home. But you must get back to Windermere, because you're going to be famous. We'll go out. We'll go to the performing center. I'm sure they're going to make a musical about this whole thing.
Oh, joy.
They've got these bards. They've got this one woman. She is breathtaking. She can be like any race. I don't know what magic she's using. I've seen disguise magic, but this is perfect. Voice, everything. And she's amazing. Does a whole show, just her.
A one-woman show.
What is her
But it's
name?
like everybody. Oh, I forgot. I was very drunk. The council paid for it.
Oh.
Yeah. I wish there was something I could look her up on. Just a thought.
There it goes.
Yeah.
Well,
Wait,
we still... What?
Keep looking. I actually might have the exact woman. I just gotta find her.
I will not be expected to live in the city now, will I?
No. I honestly don't
No.
have any desire to move back
Oh,
to
Giabella Ponto.
Windermere or here. What?
I found her.
Giabella?
Giabella Ponto. Do you want to see her?
Please.
Okay.
You have
She's-
her? Like,
Yes, she's human. Okay, wait. Let me. Oh.
We're sure she's human? Jeez. The size of her head.
Okay, that's not the actual
my
size
God.
of her. I just made it big so we could all see her. That's Giabella Ponton.
Okay.
Yeah. Something about the Stone of Santi, and it's passed through her family, and her great-great-great-great-great-grandfather lived in Santi, which is on the other side of the world, and a big stone of magic they have, kind of messed her up. And anyways, she's really cool.
Looks sassy.
Okay.
Just a random. I'm sorry, what very important thing were you talking about before I interrupted?
that was very important.
Trix will look at Zeph. You have no desire to return to the city?
No, I don't. Honestly, I'm kind of at this point where I could start anew somewhere. Completely different. Now that I'm back on the council, it seems like it's kind of necessary more than ever.
You had to die to live to get on the council again.
Oof. Only for 30 days.
Right.
Unless everyone votes you in.
Oh my god.
Which it looked that way.
Yeah, it did. It did. You know, Naomi, I still have a desire to find out what has happened to Hina.
Yes, we have some insight into that now.
Mm-hmm.
What did you learn?
The vision from somewhere far off. Pyramids. Sand.
Wait, who had this vision?
We did.
We did.
Okay.
We used one of the time stones.
Together?
Mm-hmm. When we were questioning, we were pursuing the thought line about Tiamat. Because the Tiamat in my vision of other Drix was in the place of Asgarth. It's very complicated how we went about having the vision.
Sure.
But we had a vision, and
Okay.
in the vision we saw a tabaxi, seemingly of some import or status, questioning Tiamat about some scrolls to use against the Dragonborn. Think that they, and this is just a hunch, but think that they have been taken to some other plane or demi-plane, put there by this spiteful individual. So we do have a thread to follow. And I intend on keeping that promise as well, Naomi.
Thank you. Well, if there's anything else you need from me, you let me know. I'm going to go say my goodbyes to some of the staff.
Take care of yourself, Naomi. We will see you again soon, I'm sure.
Thank you. Take your time if you need to stay in this room. I'll shut the door.
Where was my office?
Far away.
No.
3rd floor all the way to the back.
Drix is going to go over to the window. Can we get there from here?
Possibly. You gonna wild shape?
Don't need to.
You gonna climb the wall?
Can we get there from here?
Yes, reasonable. So let me describe it. So there is a window, but outside the window, this whole thing is covered in tree. Like the tree's bigger than the castle at certain parts, so things are cut to be able to see out. So those like leaves and branches in front of the windows that are cut in the shape of like the square of the window, so you can see out. So maybe like 1.5 feet or something of just like foliage. So you go out, you can like climb up the tree, or you can go, really far out above everything and like see the leaves and where it might be or something, So it's just it's like right outside the window is like scaffolding of tree.
Yeah, my
so we could potentially go up and over.
Climbing the outside of the tree to get to the 3rd floor.
Okay.
Is that feasible?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Drix is just gonna look at Zeph. Do you trust me?
Always.
Gonna grab her with his tail, and then I can spider climb, and I'm strong as fuck. So
climbing the trees. All right, you're definitely gonna pass by some 2nd floor council member windows. You don't know which ones see you, but that'll be fun for a later day. Yeah, you make it all the way to the back. It's pretty big. The hallway goes really. You're like, if you're like just in the tree in between like the castle walls and like the drop off, like if you're climbing up through there, that's cool. But if you stick your head out, you're way above the fucking jungle. Like Chrysler building tall above the jungle tops. This tree's massive.
Quite a view.
Wow.
But yeah, you find your window.
All right. Like to my office or just to that floor?
To the floor, and there's like a window at the end. And you look in and it's like empty. There's like a chair and a table and like a wastebasket and like a dresser drawer.
Well, I guess we'll go into the window and try to find the office.
It's locked.
The window is.
Yeah.
Can I break
Smash
it?
it. Yeah, I knew you would do it.
I imagine,
Okay.
Drix is gonna like headbutt it because he's spider climbing. So.
Yes, and there's
I assume he'd want fresh air anyway. All the time.
he shatters the window with his forehead, just looks back at you with a little piece of glass sticking in his head. Boink, that falls out, falls down to the jungle. Oh, she grabs it. All right, yeah. You're able to get the lock open and push that window open, or just break the rest and go in.
Break it. Yeah. Break it. Just break it.
Yeah.
Go inside. And is this the office or it's the end of the hall?
It's the office, and there's a little plaque on the desk. Like, and turn around, it says Representative Throot.
I'm going to need some dirt.
You know what? With that, let's just pause for the night. We've had a hearty role-playing session. We're going to come back for episode 60 with MJ's new character in the council because Drix and Zeph are representatives. There's skywriting still going on outside that says, "It is I, Watule. The Titans have fallen. Go home."
We gotta make sure we check on that. Make sure that gets resolved. And then I guess we're gonna go bring back the Dragonborn. No big deal.
No big deal.
All right. I want to thank everybody on Twitch, Facebook, and YouTube for watching. I hope you've had a good time. Holy cow. All right. We'll see you next time. Goodbye.